I'm Jenny, and I'm a migraine sufferer, but this is Maggie, and she is my comfort through my migraine episodes. 41 years old, and I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and I moved here to Apple Valley, Minnesota, and I have hydrocephalus and cerebral palsy, and I suffer from migraines, but that's only a part of me. It's just a part of me. It doesn't take over my whole life. I have had migraines for about 30 years, and just recently, since I moved to Minnesota, I've learned ways to cope and learn therapies and things that have helped. And for the longest time, I really did not know how that I struggled with them. And maybe in Texas, I would think that the barometric pressure and the heat and humidity had a big part in it. And they didn't have a lot of therapies to help me with. So when I moved to Minnesota, the hot and dry in Texas, or hot and humid in Texas, was not good. And here, the cold and dry, it was definitely a big help. And the therapies that I started here definitely helped too. I learned about several preventives that I could do. I have an Emgality pin that I can do monthly that can help, and I just inject that into my arm, and that helps me. And then also monthly I have a blood pressure that can help me.
Okay.
A blood pressure medication that helps. And both of those, and also I take monthly a medication called Topamax, and that helps me as well. And that those monthly medications and daily medications have helped me reduce the headaches quite a bit. And the climate is definitely very helpful, because cold and dry is a big help. And also, when I do have a headache, which it does still happen definitely, I have several abortive medications that help. In Minnesota, it's cold, and cold helps. So when I'm having a headache, I have this thing called an ice hat, and you just wear it on your head. Or if it's snowing, you can go outside, and the cold on your head definitely will help to deaden the pain. And those definitely help with the headaches. And if that doesn't work, I have also a medication called Ketorolac. And if y'all are a little squeamish, it's just an injection that you could just inject into your thigh. And that's an NSAID, inject into your thigh, and that will help you for sure. So those are very helpful medications if you're still struggling with migraines. But I feel very helped by those medications when I'm experiencing migraine, because I've struggled with them for many, many years. When I'm having a migraine, it comes through my temple. And it comes on when it usually comes on when I'm seeing a light through the corner of my eye. And it comes on through my temple and throbs. And you can usually tell because I'll stop talking and my eyes will probably close, and I'll withdraw from the conversation, and I'll probably get nauseated. That's usually a telltale sign of how the migraine starts. is light sensitivity and nausea. And there are some patients who can commence to vomiting past the nausea, and that does happen. What triggers your migraines? And for me personally, there are several triggers. Food. And for me personally, my trigger is chocolate. So I just can't have it, and it's just so sad because everybody loves chocolate, and I just can't have it. But that's about the only one that I've noticed is chocolate. So I can eat other stuff, just not the indulgent chocolate that everybody else loves. So that's okay. Another trigger that I have is anxiety and stress. So like if I have like an event coming up or something like that, or like a big bill or something like that's coming up, or stress, or a deadline or something like that I get nervous about, and then that will give me a headache or a migraine. So things like that. Another thing, weather changes, and we're actually in the news right now, hurricanes. There are possibly 2 in the Gulf of Mexico right now, and they're not affecting me, but I do have relatives that are in the Gulf of Mexico, Texas area that are going to happen. So, and I moved from Texas, so they're not affecting me, but they're affecting them. So that's something that would definitely be affecting me if I was there, because the barometric pressure in my head, and it probably has to do with my hydrocephalus, barometric pressure in the head, and so that's why I would have problems with migraines with pressure and weather changes. And also another trigger or cause of the migraines, you can inherit them. And I unfortunately inherited them from my mother, because she has them. But what is interesting is she had them a lot when she was younger, actually around my age right now, but she has, they've lessened for her as she's aged. So cross my fingers. I'm hoping that they will lessen for me as I age and get older. But they're not doing it right now. So, they're pretty bad right now. So I'm hoping as I grow older, maybe so. But it hadn't happened yet. Another thing that is a trigger would be if you're trying to get rid of your headache, your migraine with your sumatriptan, with your triptans, or your like caffeine, or sumatriptans and things like that, or your pain relievers. There can be a point where you've taken them to the point where it could actually cause you to have one, because you've desensitized yourself to them, and it'll cause you to have a rebound headache. So that's the point where you need to stop taking the thing that's your pain relieving medication. Stop taking it, because it's just not helping you anymore, and you need to stop the medication and get it out of your system so that it will work the next time you have one. So that's important. My personal preventive medications would be, I have the Preventive Emgality that I take monthly, and there are other ones. There's something called Aimovig, which is the same kind. That's another one. Some people can do Botox in their face. That's another option. And it's not for wrinkles. For some people, they do it for cosmetic, but it is for the migraines. And there are some people who can take blood pressure meds, and it also is for migraines, for the migraine prevention. You can take a blood pressure med to keep your arteries and your veins open, to keep the blood from flowing, because that prevents stroke. And I actually take it's called a calcium channel blocker, Preventive. And my mom takes propranolol, which is a beta blocker, and they're both for migraine prevention, in addition to whatever it is that they do. And also I take a preventive called Topamax, and that is specifically for migraine prevention too. But also with the Topamax, it has the side effect of making me forget, which doesn't help with the cognitive. So that happens. Okay, and then let's see, the abortive meds. That's what I had talked about earlier. The triptans, which was the sumatriptan, the toradol, which I talked about, the ketorolac, and the anti-nausea, which is the Zofran. You can do that because you'll be nauseated. The ice hat, which, oh my gosh, this is the best. And if none of that works, then you may have to take a visit to the ER for the migraine cocktail, which is DHE. It's dihydrogotamine infusion, and I've unfortunately had to do that when none of my things worked. And they'll do that at the ER, and so that's one of the last resorts that you can do. I've had that experience, but that's just one of the things you have to do if you are dealing with migraines. And so that's kind of the daily things that you just have to sort of live with and continue with your daily life. And sometimes there's speed bumps in the road, but you just kind of pick yourself up and keep going. I mean, this morning I woke up with a migraine, but I toughened up, pulled me up by the bootstraps, and kept going. So that's what you gotta do.